A commenter reminded me about a video of Angelina Jolie filmed during a ritual with a snake where she kills it in that ritual. And I'm going to play some of that video of Angelina Jolie now.
It's like I would film things like that. I would encourage like everybody, all different types of sexual. But there is that thing where it's like a lot of people misunderstand me with S&M and they think it's super. And I have to like explain to people how, like, where it's more like you're tied down because you need to like be able to like have something hold you down and keep you still, or like if you fight something down, or like. Be able to heal once you're beaten like or something. It's like it comes from that real place of like, you know, as opposed to being accessories or something like. It's like with tattoos and things. Like there's like that time where it's like, oh, I have tattoos, and after a while, you're like, you can explain them and they can use it. It's just comes from that real place. Yeah, I don't know. I only saw that film she wrote over that night. People or like darker, like that kind of, you know, but it's a great thing to be able to like see everybody's sex, like just sexuality. But it's so weird when you just. I had like the most amazing compromising pictures of people.
Nipple clamp, 3 total revolutions. 1, 2, 3. Ouch!
Like the twisting of a nipple or something?
Yeah, 3 full times.
I only saw that one she brought over that night though.
And then dripping candle wax on.
My snake, I had to kill it, incorporate it. Yeah, but especially like, or, you know, those ones that have like, when you click.
Hello?
The light everywhere in the room.
You there?
I have, yeah.
So this is the person who supposedly adopted a bunch of children. The commenter also reminded me about Angelina playing the character Olympias, the mother of Alexander in the movie Alexander, about Alexander the Great. And I had done a prior video about Olympias and Alexander the Great and remembered that Olympias was also part of a snake cult of Dionysus. So it's not a coincidence that Angelina Jolie would be doing snake rituals and also acting out the character of Olympias, who was in the snake cult of Dionysus, because she is one of their snake ladies. Alexander, or Angelina Jolie's father, is John Voight. And here he is playing Hamlet. And like I usually like to point out, many of these actors are trained in Shakespearean theater, which is really just a retelling of their polytheist history and religion. Hamlet's character from Shakespeare is actually the Danish history of the Prince of Denmark, Amleth, a Viking prince whose god is Odin. John Voight was just appointed by Donald Trump as a special ambassador to Hollywood as of January 2025. The special ambassador to Hollywood is a newly established position within the ambassadors of the United States, established by Golden Dawn. And this is a diplomatic official that reports to the Secretary of State. Ambassadors are the highest ranking diplomats of the United States. So now I'm going to play that video prior that I made about Olympias, and then I'm going to review the movie Alexander.
This video will be about Olympias, the mother of Alexander the Great. She was a sorceress and a disciple of the orgiastic mystery snake cult of Dionysus. She carried snakes around with her and even had them in her bed. She was one of Philip II's wives and a queen. She was a powerful geopolitical global leader of the known world during her time. She was violent and a murderer. She claimed to be a bride of Zeus and claimed Alexander the Great was the son of Zeus. She was the most influential person in Alexander the Great's life and reign. I'm covering her and Alexander as an example that those who worship the beast get power, just as it says in the Bible. Angelina Jolie played her character in the 2004 movie Alexander. Before I get into her specifically, I want to cover the history of Greece as one of the beast empires that were prophesied in the Bible and which did already occur except for the last one. And I want to review the influence of the Greek Empire on the world. So here you have Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, then Rome. The Grecian Macedonian Empire was from 331 BC to 160 BC. This empire is 100% attributed to Alexander the Great. I mentioned that Olympias claimed that Alexander was the son of Zeus. So I just want to mention the synonymous deities throughout these same beast empires to Zeus. Egypt is not listed here because it was prior to Babylon, but in Egypt you have Ra, in Babylon you have Marduk, in Medo-Persia, Ahura Mazda, in Greece, Zeus, and in Rome, Jupiter, all synonymous. In Daniel 7, the prophet records a night vision that God gave him concerning 4 world empires symbolized as 4 beasts. The 4 empires are the same as Nebuchadnezzar saw in his dream in Daniel 2. But that 3rd beast empire is represented by the 3rd beast, which is like a leopard, except it has 4 bird-like wings on its back and 4 heads. This beast was given authority to rule. The 3rd beast represents Greece, an empire known for the swiftness of its conquests. The 4 heads are predictive of the 4-way division of the empire following Alexander the Great's death. And here is that empire, which is quite vast. Alexander is not in the Bible, but Daniel and Zechariah wrote prophecies concerning Greece and Alexander's empire well before Alexander's rise to power. Alexander's legacy was quickly made, briefly lived, and has lasted to this day. He was born in 356 BC, he died at 32 years old, and he only reigned for 13 years. So this vast empire was established by the sorcerer's son in just 13 years. His legendary conquest of nearly the entire known world resulted in one of the largest empires in ancient history. He overthrew the entire Persian Empire, including Asia Minor, Persia, Egypt, and everything in between, including Israel. Alexander died undefeated in battle, but without a clear heir, which led to the division of his empire among his 4 generals, which was represented in Daniel's beast that he dreamed about. Although Alexander's empire was split, the Hellenism that he spread continued. Greek became the universal language, and Greek culture was either required or encouraged in all parts of the divided empire. So what is Hellenism? Besides the name of a recent hurricane, Hurricane Helene, that occurred right after the Paris Olympics / Olympias. Hellenism is the neo-pagan polytheist religion of the ancient Greeks, which influenced the Greek and Roman empires. The influence of the Greek culture continued past the 1st century BC, when the Roman Empire took control of Israel. Greek philosophy taught that the earth was created not by the Most High God, but by an underling, and that salvation is with reuniting and becoming one with the Most High God. Hellenists honor the Olympians as well as minor deities and other creatures like satyrs and nymphs. The 12 Olympians are Zeus, Hera, Poseidon, Demeter, Athena, Apollo, Artemis, Ares, Aphrodite, Hephaestus, Hermes, and Dionysus. This is Nike of Samothrace, which is an iconic symbol of Hellenism, featured in the Louvre, and also featured in the Paris 2024 Olympics, which occurred shortly before Hurricane Helene. This simulacra is one of their most prized pieces in the Louvre. She sits front and center. It's widely accepted that Olympias met Philip II on the Greek island of Samothrace, known for its temple complex and sanctuary of the great gods congregating around the Great Mother. It was celebrated throughout ancient Greece for its mystery religion. So this influence of Alexander the Great, the Olympian Greek gods, and even Hellenism and Gnosticism is quite vast with regards to the beast system and to this day. So now that we have reviewed the Greek beast empire historically and its influence, let's talk about Olympias and Alexander. As mentioned before, Olympias was a devout member of the orgiastic, snake-worshipping cult of Dionysus. Plutarch reported that she slept with snakes in her bed. Plutarch also wrote, referring to Olympias and Philip II, the night before they were locked into the bridal chamber together, the bride had a dream. Following a clap of thunder, her room was struck by thunderbolts and started a vigorous fire. Philip was pressing a seal on his wife's womb, and that emblem of the seal was the figure of a lion. The future of their great son was foretold. This says that after Philip saw his wife sleeping with snakes, his days of visiting her bedchamber were over. But since Olympias had been a long-time devotee to the cult of Dionysus, that wasn't going to stop with her marriage. The cult of Dionysus characteristic symbols are the bull. You always have to have the bull cult in there. The serpent, always got to have the serpent. And leopards, like the one that Daniel dreamed about. This is Dionysus, who's often shown riding a leopard and wearing a leopard skin. So isn't it weird how Katy Perry had a concert in Australia on a hurricane-shaped stage when Hurricane Helene hit? That's no accident, and neither was the naming of that hurricane. Also remember that you had the cavalry practicing for King Charles III's birthday celebration last year, and he's riding a horse with a leopard saddle, also like Dionysus. And this is the same day that blood-soaked military horse broke free. Same day. Alexander the Great was said to ride with a leopard saddle also. In 356 BC, Olympias proved her value to Philip by providing him with an heir in Alexander. A soothsayer would later claim that Alexander's birth, coinciding with other important events, meant that he would grow to be invincible. After Alexander's arrival, his mother's primary objective in life was to make him king. She told him constantly of his noble lineage to Zeus and his ties to Achilles, and this story had a very powerful effect on Alexander. It also says that Aristotle was summoned from Athens to educate Alexander. Regarding Olympias, she poisoned the other possible heir, his half-brother, Alexander's half-brother, and she made him mental so that he wouldn't be a threat to Alexander becoming king. It's also alleged that Olympias may have had a hand in the assassination of Philip II, her husband, in 336 BC. She also poisoned and put to death other of Philip's relatives, including children, to secure her future as a king's mother. Alexander was reportedly a very heavy drinker and very violent, and towards the end of his life he became very paranoid and tyrannical. Like so many of these other leaders that we see, very psychopathic tendencies. So Olympias, Alexander's mother, was jealous, violent, murderous, and a pagan sorceress who was into sexual sin, part of a cult, but ended up being a very influential global leader, especially through her son Alexander. And this influenced the world through a beast system for many years afterwards. So Trump says he's cut from the same cloth as Alexander the Great. And I wonder what he means by that. Does he know that Alexander's empire was a beast empire, and that Alexander claimed to be the son of Zeus, and that he was the son of a witch? I'm sure he does know that, since he's a Stuart bloodliner, and a MacLeod bloodliner, and also descended from a Danish prince. People like him would certainly be educated in that history. But the thing that concerns me sometimes is that this is the way that it's always been with the beast system in the world. We just proved that. And that's probably why Nike of Samothrace was featured at the Olympics in Paris. I've already covered the Caesars of the Roman Empire that took over after the Greek beast empire, and their practices at Lake Nemi, the volcanic lake near Rome, with the temple of Diana called Diana's Mirror. And this is the same one that Sir James Fraser wrote about in his book The Golden Bough, indicating that Diana worship was transferred to St. Peter's Basilica. And how accurate was the prophecy of Daniel regarding Rome as the fourth beast empire? See, here you have Rome listed as the dragon. So these are just a few images of the dragon that are at the Vatican. There are dragon fountains, dragons on the wall, dragons on the ceiling, dragon sculptures, etc. There's even this serpent at the papal audience hall, just like the cult of Dionysus. You worship the beast, you get power, just like it says in the Bible and was offered to Jesus. And Alexander the Great and his mother are a perfect example of that. This world beast system also has influence over the masses, as we saw with Alexander, and how Hellenism was forced to spread throughout his empire. Hellenism and paganism with roots in the cult of Dionysus, as we just saw. And it continues even today. And this is one way that Satan operates. But, it will end. It will end. Jesus will return as prophesied, just as all the prophecies, all the other prophecies have been fulfilled. Thanks for listening.
So now we can look at this movie, Alexander. The film's original screenplay was derived in part from the book Alexander the Great, published in 1973 by the Oxford historian Robin Fox, and it takes place around 285 BC. The entire movie is a reverence to the pagan gods throughout. It has bull cult symbolism throughout, references to Titans, Dionysus worship like was portrayed at the Paris Olympics recently. The narrator is Ptolemy. Ptolemy's character is Sir Anthony Hopkins, who is a Knight of the Crown in real life. I covered him in my video, Sir Anthony Hopkins. Colin Farrell plays the character of Alexander. He's an Irish actor who's been a drug addict and suffered from depression and anxiety in real life, in and out of relationships and rehab. Jared Leto plays Hephaestion's character, and Jared Leto is the one who bought the studio/CIA building in Laurel Canyon. Hephaestion and Alexander are gay lovers in the movie, and historically, that is also the report. The famous quote is that Alexander was never defeated except by Hephaestion's thighs. According to historians, the ruling classes were expected to be openly homosexual. The movie features a lot of gay, transvestite, and even pedo garbage, rape. Christopher Plummer plays Aristotle, and he is Order of Canada in real life. In the movie, Aristotle encourages homosexuality as he's teaching Alexander and the rest of the boys, who he refers to as young frogs. Lots of other actors that typically play in these types of polytheist movies are in this movie as well. I can't go over all of them. So Alexander grows up with his mother Olympias, who declares him as the son of Zeus by the oracle of Amun. So I'm going to play the intro of the movie now.
Alexander, the army will divide. Satrapies will revolt. Without your orders, there'll be war.
We beg you, tell us who.
So right there, it went through, at the beginning, Egyptian hieroglyphs, and then Greek alphabet, but then it shows Ahura Mazda with the snake-trundled legs at the bottom. So Ahura Mazda is the sky god of the Proto-Indo-Aryan god. Then it showed Sanskrit, and then it shows Alexander, implying that this is a continuation of a bloodline, which is the continuation... It is the continuation of a bloodline and a religion of the beast empires. It even highlights the ring because he's a ring lord. Then it just goes on like this, beginning with the sacrificing of a bull and with the priest declaring that blood is the food of the gods below. Alexander proclaims Zeus be with us as he rides into battle in the movie. The movie depicts Olympias training young Alexander with snakes as a child, and his father proclaiming that he has Titan blood in him. And there are scenes of him parading around the Ishtar Gate in Babylon, and the animals on that gate are the same ones in the British heraldry, by the way. the lion, the unicorn, and the dragon. In the movie, Alexander and his army, during their conquests, refer to their golden age when they will take back what is theirs. Sound familiar?